lay the groundwork because most, if not all of us, have heard and learned this before, but most of us have forgotten it because we're older. The best way to put it. And then the second one I show you will kind of bring it all in perspective. And good morning. The second one, you're not going to see a lot on it until you get to the end, but just try to put it in perspective.
Science of the Brain with Marshall Brain. Hello and welcome. I'm Marshall Brain, and today I would like for you to imagine that we are traveling through space because today's big science question is, what is a light year? We hear about light years all the time, and here's an example of why we hear about them. We live on Earth. The Earth is part of the solar system. The solar system is part of the Milky Way galaxy. And if we can get up above the galaxy and look at it, this is what scientists think it would look like. Scientists believe that the Milky Way galaxy is about 100,000 light years across. That's big. Scientists have also told us that our nearest galactic neighbor is the Andromeda Galaxy, and that the Andromeda Galaxy is 2.2 million light years away. The distances are huge. They're so huge that they're nearly impossible for us to imagine. So let's start at the beginning. Light, like the light that comes out of this flashlight, moves very, very, very fast. How fast is it? Scientists have figured out that light moves at about 186,000 miles per second. That means that if you turn on a flashlight and you could measure how fast the light was going as it leaves the flashlight, it would be able to move at about 186,000 miles per second. What moves at the speed of light? Well, obviously light does. When it's moving through air or space or glass, light is always going about 186,000 miles per second. Another thing that goes at the speed of light is radio waves. When you talk on a walkie-talkie or a cell phone, your voice is moving at the speed of light. Another place is electricity in a wire. The signals inside your computer move at the speed of light. So what is a light year? A light year is a way of measuring distance. Now we're used to measuring distance with things like rulers and tape measures. But a light year is for measuring really, really, really big distances. A light year is about 6 trillion miles. The problem is 6 trillion miles is almost impossible to imagine. So let's try something just a little bit smaller. Let's look at the light second. Since the speed of light is 186,000 miles per second, 1 light second is 186,000 miles. That's easier to imagine because the moon is about 1 light second away. If you look at the distance between the Earth and the moon, it's about 240,000 miles. That works out to 1.3 light seconds. So let's imagine that you have a friend living on the moon and you call her with your new radio telephone. You say, "Hi, how are you?" It would take 1.3 seconds for your voice to get to the moon because the moon is 1.3 light seconds away. Your friend says, "Great." And now it takes 1.3 seconds for your friend's voice to get back to Earth, so it would sound like this. "Hi, how are you?" Great. I mean, listen to how long that delay is. "Hi, how are you?" Great. Even at the speed of light, it takes a lot of time to get a message from the Earth to the moon and back. If we want to go bigger, we can talk about the light minute. A light minute is about 11 million miles. The sun is about 93 million miles from the Earth. Therefore, it takes sunlight about 8.3 minutes to get from the sun to the Earth, and the sun is 8.3 light minutes away from the Earth. And then there's the light hour, which is about 670 billion miles. Our solar system is about 5.6 billion miles across. That means it would take light 8.4 hours to get across our solar system. So our solar system is 8.4 light hours in diameter. So now that you know a little bit about light hours, light minutes, light seconds. We can kind of put this all in perspective. The Earth is a tiny little speck in our solar system, and our solar system is only a few light hours across. It's inside of a galaxy that's 100,000 light years across. In other words, we're just a tiny, tiny little speck in the universe, because the universe contains billions of galaxies. If you'd like to learn more about light years, or about light hours, light minutes, or even light seconds, come to marshallbrain.com/science.
Y'all knew that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knew that. Give them the test at the end now.
What you're seeing right now. First of all, this is the Earth. Okay, then just you're taking off from the Earth from Southern California. We're gonna rise up a little bit here. Okay, we're gonna pull away from it. We're gonna pull higher. Now this is at about 10 kilometers. Like if you climb Mount Everest, this is what you'd see. You'd see the curvature of the Earth from that distance. Now we're gonna climb up even higher. This is at 100 kilometers. And you're a fourth of the way to the space station now. This is what you'd see. If you get to this level, you're considered an astronaut. Just if you ever get there. Okay, now we're going 100,000 kilometers. 100,000 kilometers from Earth. You're a fourth of the way to the moon. That's what the Earth would look like. Now we're going to pull away to 1,000,000 kilometers. At 1,000,000 kilometers, there's the moon. Okay? There's the moon. You can barely see the Earth. You're at 1,000,000 kilometers now. You're past the moon. And now we're going to go to 100 million kilometers. 100 million kilometers. You're still not to the sun. The sun's 93 million miles away. But now we go to 10 trillion kilometers. There's the sun. Okay? You just passed the sun. Now you would see all of the planets at 10 trillion kilometers. And now we're at 10 to the 15th power. That means 10 with 15 zeros. I don't know what that number is. 15 zeros. And the sun's just like a bright dot amidst other stars. And now we're going to 10 light years away. At 10 light years away, come on, let's go. So there you go, 10 light years away. Now you just see the sun with like 11 other stars that are kind of its neighbors. You know, that's our sun. And now we're going to go 1,000 light years away. At 1,000 light years away, you wouldn't even see our sun anymore. These are just a bunch of stars close to it in this cluster inside the Milky Way. Now we're going to zoom out even further, and that's the Milky Way we live in. See that cluster of stars? Those are about 100,000 stars that are closest to our sun. You can't see our sun anymore at this point. Now this is our Milky Way galaxy. Forget about the Earth. Okay, there's our Milky Way galaxy that we live in. And we're just buried in there somewhere. And we're going to pull out even further, and you'll see that our galaxy is actually, it's a big galaxy, and all those other things you're seeing now are galaxies. And we're going to pull away 10 million light years now. The next thing is 10 million light years. Those are all galaxies you see amidst our Milky Way, several hundred galaxies. Now we're going to go 100 million light years away. It's the last one. We're going to zoom out to 100 million light years. Those are all clusters of galaxies. Galaxies and clusters of galaxies. You won't even see our Milky Way galaxy anymore amidst that. We don't have telescopes that go beyond that little sphere there.
You've got lights back on. Wasn't a very good video at the end, but wanted to try to bring it all into perspective. And when you stop and think about what you were shown on the last video particularly, I don't know how those images made you feel. Now, I realize you couldn't see some of the stars and so forth on there, but the idea was to pull him back and see how small and insignificant that the Earth is not to mention us as individuals on the earth compared to what God has created. And when you stop and really contemplate and think about those things, I don't know how that makes you feel. Amazed, speechless, humbled, I don't know. But when I saw that and began to think about it, the only thing I could do was just stop and sit quietly and admire the Creator. Admire the Creator. Let me read, if you will, turn to Romans chapter 1, verse 20. And I'm going to read out of the Living Bible, this particular verse. Romans chapter 1, verse 20. And this will also answer another question that I have been asked on several occasions about what happens to an individual who's never heard about Jesus Christ. What happens to them when they die? Romans chapter 1, verse 20. Since earliest times, men have seen the earth and sky and all God made, and have known of his existence and great eternal power. So they will have no excuse when they stand before God at judgment day. Since earliest times, men have seen the earth and sky and all that God made, and have known of his existence and great eternal power. Father, again, we ask your blessings on your word today. Open our ears and open our hearts to it, and may we be changed by it. In your name, amen. You know,